everyone, we're going to do a fairly quick question of the day, which is being on board like the Love Boat? And so in some ways, yes, in terms of the fact that there's a lot of romance that happens, but in terms of having it be like the Love Boat, like where the crew has all these relationships and gets really, really entangled in the guests' lives, and all of that, I would say that's not really realistic. Do crew and passengers hook up sometimes? Yes. They're not supposed to. You can get fired for it. It does happen, but it's not nearly to the involvement level that the Love Boat takes it, especially like during a 1 week cruise. So the other side of it, so romance for crew. So you have pretty much every stage that you can think of. Like you have the people that are just looking for something, either nothing or something casual. Then you have the people that meet and are like, hey, this is fun, but realistically, you're from a different country. We're not from this, we're never going to see each other off of this ship. Trying to get our next contracts lined up is not realistic. So, this will be a till gangway do us part situation. And then there's the ones that meet, start dating, and are like, hey, let's line this contract. Let's try to see where this goes. And so that's probably going to mean visiting each other's countries. It'll potentially mean lining up your next contracts, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't. A lot of times contract lengths are not the same. Like my husband has 3-month contracts. There are contracts on board that are up to 9-month contracts, sometimes longer than that even. And so depending on who's which departments and which contract types and stuff, like that can make it really complicated to line your contracts up as well. And so there's like this whole range that happens of relationships on board, like going from the really casual to the serious to the married couples. There's definitely some married couples that work on board, together. It feels like there's always a point, which, my husband and I hit a couple years ago when I was pregnant and we had our daughter, in that it ends up being really challenging for a couple, not a married couple, but a couple that has a kid to work on board. I've also seen it. There's a chief engineer and she had been an HR manager on board. And because he's a head of department and she's HR, she doesn't sail anymore. She doesn't work for the ship anymore. She has a different job. Because she'd have to switch, one of them would have to switch positions because it was a conflict of interest. So there's two kind of meh parts about ships, which is the first one, the kind of second family concept really exists on, or can exist on a ship. So where one person might have an entire family at home, and then on board they have a whole situationship going on with someone. Sometimes like the whole ship knows about it. It's not good, but it is part of ship life. The other part is it's only meh if you're in it. If you're watching it, it's kind of funny sometimes, is all the drama that exists. So like if you consistently go to the crew bar and you just kind of watch all the interactions that are happening, or go to a crew party and see all of that, there's a lot that goes down. And people trying to hide things, like the 5-minute rule. So, if you're at the bar hanging out together and you don't want people to know that you're together, you have one person leave and then the other person waits 5 minutes to go. But if you're paying attention, you just see that happen and you're like, think I know where you're going, kind of deal. So, is working on a ship like the Love Boat? Kinda, a little bit sometimes, but more with the crew relationships and not so much. The Love Boat really was more crew passenger adventures. So that part, frowned upon, as in you'll get fired. Yeah, so there you have it. Romance at Sea. I do have a whole blog series about this, like starting with what dating is like on a cruise ship, living together on a ship. So, you know, that next stage where you're trying to get your contracts lined up, and then how it works on the next stage where you're married, committed relationship, all that jazz. So anyways, I will put some links where I can, and I hope you all have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.